again? I'm back again. After you updated your profile, you could go ahead to creating releases. Before you get to creating releases, you log in. Choose if you want to go light or dark, while you're in the platform. And then from there, you click create release. You type the title of the release. You put content type, which is an audio release. That's what we're working on, showing you how to deliver a release and transfer a release. Then click create release. I already started the process, so we're gonna go right here. I just wanted to show you what you do to get here. And then once you click that create release button, it'll come here. It'll be blank. You upload the artwork. Let me just go through the process so you can see how the process goes. You upload the artwork, and if the artwork don't fit the criteria of 3000 by 3000 pixels in JPG format, it will get rejected. You put your record label name here. You put the UPC code if this is a transfer, in which this is a transfer. And if it's a new release, you just leave it blank. You go to the next step and it'll generate a UPC code for you. Sub label name is not required. Release version isn't required unless it's another version of a release. And you just see all the different versions you can switch it to. Covers, bonus track, whatever. You can switch the version. And we also have this image generation tool, which I don't need, but you can give it a prompt and it'll generate, a basic artwork for you. You could upscale your cover art. I don't know if I could do it right now, but I believe that's if you did the image generation, but I'll show you how to do this in another video. Oh, see, it did it, so it upscaled the image for you. Let's just go next. We don't need it for real. And then right here is where you add your tracks. If you're adding a new track, you click add track. If it's an existing track, like let's say you're doing an EP and you have a single that's already processed through the system, you'll go to existing track, which I will show you after I upload some of these new tracks. Let me log into this other system. Go to taking down. And it's not only important for you to make sure the ISRC codes and the UPC codes match, you need to ensure that the metadata on all levels match, the files match. It's the same amount of tracks with the same track titles, on your single or your EP or your album. Nothing can be out of whack. When it comes to transferring a release, it all has to be aligned. So let's check this list of tracks. That's why I'm going here. Ambitious Love, Can We Sit Down and Talk? She Wants to Know. We're gonna stop at She Wants to Know, because Beautiful as She is a single that's out right now. So I'll be able to show you how to add existing tracks since it's a single that's already out. And then once tracks are like, see, Ambitious Love is completed. It hit the check mark. Can We Sit Down and Talk just completed, hit a check mark. And you see the percentage loading up. Once it 100%, it goes check mark. And it's good to, like, see, I have the files already named, just like the title, like the exact capitalization and spelling, so that when I upload it, the title's already there. If not, you just have to update it when you're doing the metadata, so that's double work for you. Alright, we have these 3 tracks. We still have more tracks, but let's add Beautiful as She. And we're gonna start doing some metadata so you get the gist of it before I finish this whole album. Alright, Beautiful as She. You seen I hit the add existing track, I searched it, I added it here. And the blessing, we have this copy field tab, and the blessing of that, I can go here. Information is already here. Copy fields. And please do not hit once you could check all as far as the metadata, but do not check all to add it. Let's say you're trying to add it to each track. Do not do that. You go one by one, but we're just gonna do Ambitious Love and then have Ambitious Love work on the rest, because we need to update track release date for the new tracks on this album. So let's do that. We copying the fields to Ambitious Love. Alright, that's done. Most of the time when you're doing copy fields, the most common thing you will have to change if you're doing a transfer is here. You have to add the old UPC ISRC code, because you have to have the ISRC codes from the old release and the old singles, songs on an album or EP or single. But when you do the copy fields, it automatically generates the ISRC code for you, or if you leave it blank, it automatically generates it for you. But that's only needed for new projects. So now we need to make sure everything matches. Okay, what date is release drop? 2021, November 1st. So this year is 2021. That could all stay the same. This could stay the same. Okay. And just to go over, because I'm screening through, because I'm using the copy fields tab that streamlines the process. But let me go over each tab for you on the track, so you know what you're doing. So let's erase that real quick. Normally when you go into the track from the jump, you add the artist. In this case, we're adding Devin D. Streeter. It's the primary artist. That's how you select the role of the artist. And then for you to do the identifiers, here you go. But let's add some other identifiers so you can see what we're doing. Okay, if it's a new artist that doesn't have a profile, you would select new. But if this is an artist that's been around and has music out, you will find the existing profiles. QQ, Netties, I don't even know about to do all these, but I just want to go through the process. And actually, some of this stuff would be my first time doing, so I'm learning with you guys. Netties, Devin D. Streeter. Let's see if we can find them on it. I don't even see on Netties. Let's try this. Maybe I can't just get that like that. Maybe I don't got no profile. I'm typing it wrong. Alright, let's just focus on what we know right now. So we're gonna just remove that off. Let's just focus on the basics. So let's go to SoundCloud. Let's look up profile on SoundCloud. Alright, there we go. So, and really, so when they do the identifiers, they want this right here. They don't want the whole link. Oh, it did it, but let's just delete all of that. You just need that after the backslash. Let's go get these. How you want to do this? Let's try it like that. Okay, there we go. They couldn't find it, but here we go. We about to find you, boy. Alright, let's find Devin D. Streeter. I think this the right profile. Yes, it is. There's some old stuff on here too, look like. But we'll tweak that later. So, we'll do this right here. Cause you're getting them last digits. Apple and Spotify already there, but just so you know how to do it, it's the same process. Let's do it for you. Okay. Spotify. Copy. And that's really the process of getting your identifiers though. It's right there, so I'm just be pasted there. And you click update, you can add your picture right here. I don't feel like doing it right now. But yeah, you can add you a nice little picture of your artist right there. Bam, that's done. Display artists need to be there. Your title that generates from the file. We talked about the ISRC code, the year, the copyright name that must be filled. Genre and subgenre need to be filled. Alternate genre, you can add it, but it's not mandatory. I just did because I do poetry, and to make sure it falls in the right categories, I implement a bit of both. But your language, make sure that's right. You know, if you got the lyrics, you could type out the lyrics here. It'll help you with getting lyrics on profiles. You know, put explicit, not explicit. You know, your track release date. Actually, that's good. I went to 11/1/2021. I did find that earlier. I just never typed it. One of the reasons, okay, that I had to do this one before I start copying it to the other ones. And alright, composers and lyricists. It's very important I go over this because a lot of people mess up on this and don't understand it. So, as you can see, my artist name is Devin D. Streeter. He has a middle initial in it. You cannot use stage names unless your stage name is your government name, which mine is, but I can't use that middle initial unless like I did it here. It's Devin Devon Keon Streeter. It's the full name. It has to be full name. You don't have to put middle names. You can add them or don't add them, but don't do initials or abbreviations or dashes. Just give out full names, either first and last name, or you can do first, middle, and last name for composers and lyricists. As far as producers, artists, stage names, they can be whatever the artist name is. It doesn't have to be government name, and it can't have abbreviations in it. The moves, you must add some type of moves to the release. You have to add three at least. Instruments, you have to add at least one instrument. The publishing information, you fill this out. So if any royalties are owed out to you or the writers on the release in multiple countries, the system will help go fish that for you and give you your royalties for that. But after you're done with the track, you click save, and then we're about to do the copy fields tab again since we have a track release date. So like I told you before, do not click check all when trying to copy it to another track. Copy all metadata, but do not click check all for these tracks. So we're gonna do can we sit down and talk? See, it says copy success, and then we're gonna do she wants to know. Beautiful she is existing track, so it already had information. That's where we started at when we did the first copy fields. So right here you're gonna see how it wasn't nothing there. It generated ISRC codes, but since these are transfers, we're gonna have to go change that and tweak a few things when it comes to this track. I think it's a question mark supposed to be on there. Oh no, it's not. Okay. So we're gonna start. Can we sit down and talk? I need that ISRC code. And then like it just says for some reason the release has a featured artist or something on it. You will add it just like you add the primary. You do the identifiers, but if nothing has changed on everything else, you just keep everything the same. Add your ISRC code. Click save. Track metadata is saved, and just so you know, it won't let you save if nothing is there. Like let's do this. Let's delete that and try to save it. See, it's gonna tell you that your track is missing a required field. Save track. Just make sure you're paying attention to everything so you know how to process releases in our system. Alright, we're gonna go to she wants to know. It's the same process. Go get that ISRC code since it's a transfer. If it's a new release, you just let it stay there, generate it. Okay. So all four of these are good. We still got 4 more tracks. So let's go add the new tracks. Fell in love with you all over while I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you. Okay, she's my type of woman to exist and release. So we're just gonna add these 3. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna knock out the copy fields for the rest of these 3. Since these are new, and only thing will change most likely is the ISRC code. And maybe I think it might be a featured artist on 1 or 2 of the tracks. Okay. Yeah, this featured artist tool makes life a lot easier. I mean, this copy fields too. I'm talking about featured artist too. Back to release. Alright, like you see, it generated as ISRC code there. Start falling in love with you all over. Alright, let's just make sure there ain't no extra information. It's just ISRC code. Bam, done. love you. I'm trying to think. Is there somebody else on here? I guess it wasn't on the metadata, so. Let's do the same thing. Proud of you. Alright, so we done doing all of it's one more track and it's existing one, so get to see how that goes again. She's my type of woman. Alright, display artist needs to be added. Format. A single is normally 1 or 2 singles unless it's 10 minutes or more. It turns into an EP. An EP is normally 3 to 6 songs, and then the album starts at 7 or more. Alright, so if it's another if it's you got volumes of this project, this will be volume 1, and if you do another volume 2, so that's self-explanatory. Release date, it was 11/1/2021, I think. Yep, I'm right. And please enter consumer release date. And this is all album release level. All other metadata was track level. That's why we had to do it for each track. 11/01. Alright, original release date should match consumer release date. You must add consumer release time. Pre-order date, it's a transfer, it's no pre-order date, but as you can see, let's say if it's a new release, the date your release is to be made available in stores for pre-orders. This date has to be before release date because it's a pre-order. Okay, recording year 2021. Let's do recording location, Miami, Florida. It's not a required field. I'm just playing around with this. English. That's a required field because it will push it back. You don't got that on there. And something you need to know, like I said, if you're doing a single, this release level has to match the exact metadata of the track if it's a single. But if it's an album or an EP, you can get away with it a little bit. Everything don't gotta technically match every track, because some tracks sometimes have different copyright information. But if it's a single, there's no reason it shouldn't be the same. Alright. Almost done, y'all. Thank y'all for staying with me this long. Okay, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna do it a little different. Really need to go change some stuff. Wait, I could do that while I'm playing. But let's see if it's done. So, you got this, select your platform. Deselect anything you don't want on there. You could do, let's say, track price. You could do single or bundle. You know, you want it all bundled up, or you want to let them get them by singles as well. And then right here, you could do default, or you could play with it, and it says this is a album. You could do that, but I'm gonna just do default. I don't never mess with that too much. We got extra fields tab, nothing required. You can set a release territories, but I just do worldwide. Let's try validating. Oh, so if it wasn't, if something was wrong, it wouldn't have validated. And the blessing is, let's do this. I'm just about to. Well, it's not gonna let me do it right now. I already did. But if you leave any of it like this blank, it'll tell you, hey, you didn't fill that out, or it'll let you know what's wrong. In the process. The little things. Okay, you're gonna send it through, and QC will look over your release and send it through the next level of QC, and then that's when the platforms review it and wait for it to be delivered. So it'll go from pending to QC to delivered. Once it says delivered, that means it's been sent to the platforms and you're waiting on the platforms. But if for any reason it says corrections required, that means you need to check to see what corrections you need to make. But this release has been processed. You've learned how to process a release. And our next video will be about payment splits, payouts. Setting up payment splits if you got collaborators on a release and you need to set up a payment split. But we're going to talk about that in the next video, and I appreciate you guys.